Let's take a look at your health while we have you here this morning. Have you gotten scoped out recently? We're talking colonoscopy, colon cancer. It's important to stay on guard, right? Especially during this month, especially anytime, but let's have a conversation this month. Maybe it spurs some activity here. Matt Venezia live this morning with the experts from the Baton Rouge General sharing some information about this. And the colossal colon in the background, that's certainly an attention getter. Matt, good morning.
Yeah, Matt, it is an attention getter. It actually is pretty cool to walk through there. You see what a healthy colon, maybe kind of in the middle of the row, and then what a colon with cancer looks like. So it's a really good educational experience for folks. It's going to be up till noon today, by the way. Dr. Varnado joining me here. He's with Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. You have Baton Rouge General and Mary Bird Cancer Center coming together here to really speak about colon cancer here, which is one of those cancers that is really just affecting folks younger and younger. What would you say to that? What have you noticed in your time?
Yeah, certainly the incidence of colon cancer has risen, but what's been more alarming more recently is the incidence in younger populations. And so it's important that everyone knows about screening guidelines and when to talk to a doctor. Generally, we recommend colonoscopy starting at age 45. That can change given your family history. If you have someone in your family who's been diagnosed earlier than that, siblings, parents, that is something your doctor needs to know about, because that does lower the age of which we recommend things. So it's not only important for you as general health, but to know your family history, talk to your doctor about it, because it is one of the cancers that we have great screening guidelines for, is preventable. And so it's important that you know your history for general health and your family.
Now, symptoms with a cancer like this are kind of tough to pinpoint, right? So what are some things that folks maybe can do to keep themselves in the clear as they kind of approach that age kind of requirement / deadline for when those colonoscopies come into play?
Sure. And so again, screening is when you don't have symptoms, so that's the most important. But things to look out for: certainly unexpected blood in your stool or your bowel movements, unexplained abdominal pain, and then unexplained weight loss. There's a lot of weight loss going on that is intentional, but if you're losing weight for unexplained reasons, that is something your doctor needs to know about. So abnormal bowel movements, abnormal abdominal pain, unexplained weight loss are all things that should be brought to your attention, really at any age too. That's important, is that it's easier to brush things off in your 20s and 30s and even early 40s. But those are things that you should pay attention to, talk to your doctor about, because we're seeing people in that age be affected.
Absolutely. Dr. Varnado right here at the Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center with Baton Rouge General here, continuing this discussion. The month of March, it's when it's going to be all going on, the conversation here around colon cancer and awareness for it. So we will continue that. One more conversation here in about a half hour, so stay with us for that. Here from Baton Rouge General, we'll send it to Jared Silverman. He is at the weather